Good evening, folks. Well, early evening, 5:30 here. So, just about to go for a ride on my speed triple. I just got it back on Saturday. Had to take it in. Something wasn't quite feeling right on the front end, and I had two tires I'd picked up that I needed mounted anyway, so I took it into Empire, local Triumph dealership. They put on my two brand new tires, Bridgestone Battle Axe BT 016s Hypersports. Check out these bad boys. Nice and new, still got their little knobblies on them, so I haven't ridden it at all. I literally picked it up Saturday morning, came home, parked it, and that was it. So yeah, nice and fresh. They need some bedding in. And the issue I had with the handling was actually my front wheel bearing needed replacing, which they did. So it wasn't quite feeling right, tipping into corners, especially right-handers. So I knew something was going on, just, you know. So, and I haven't used a GoPro in a while, so I thought, you know what, it's a nice Monday evening here, and hopefully all the traffic I eased off a little bit from people coming home from work. All those essential workers during this COVID-19 pandemic. There we go. So the good guys at Empire Cycles checked the bike over while it was there. I told them just to, I said them it wasn't handling right. They gave it the once over. That's the only thing they found. They did reload the tune for my Arrows high level exhausts, because it felt like it was just running a little bit on the lumpy side, so they did that as well. And again, riding it home, that seems to have made it nice and smooth again. So yeah, but now my latest predicament is, do I keep this girl? It's gotta admit, was my favorite motorcycle. Still is very hard for me to choose between this one and my new Speed Twin, but I gotta say, after riding my Speed Twin that I've had just over a year now, that Speed Twin is an incredible bike. I mean, it's not meant to be a full-out sports bike, It's kind of retro cafe racer-ish, but it's weird because I feel like I can go faster on my Speed Twin than I can on my triple. And I was explaining that to the guys at Empire, and I mean, hopefully the trouble with the wheel bearing obviously wasn't helping much with the handling on this one. But that Speed Twin, it's a lovely bike. Really fallen in love with it. So that has become my number one love. Relegating my Trixie Triple here to number two. Barely, barely reduced to number two. It's still right up there. And maybe having this new wheel bearing, two new tires will bring her back to life a bit. We will see. So anyway, I'm just gonna go for a little. Oh shit! I left my wallet at home. Maybe I should go back and get that, just in case I should get pulled over. Fuck. Oh, excuse my language. You know what? I'll be good. I'm not gonna be going crazy. So yeah, definitely feeling nice and light again. One of the first things I noticed about my triple my Speed Triple when I initially got it. Let's see, 7 years ago now. I've had this bike, or just, yeah, actually it's just come up about 7 years now. So one of the things I initially noticed about it when I first got it was how easily it wants to tip into corners, you know. Some bikes you gotta wrestle, really kind of, you know, pull them over. But the one thing I've always liked about the Speed Triple is how easy it just wants to tip in. Sometimes it tips in too easily. Sometimes I, you know, almost find myself oversteering a bit because it just really tips in. A couple of times catch myself just clipping that apex a little bit too early because I'm like, you know, bam. So anyway, so, I mean, find a little bit of a windy road here to scrub off a little bit of this fresh rubber. Gonna take it easy pretty much. Probably won't get scrubbed in really good until we probably go for our next Euro ride, which I was looking forward to yesterday doing with the group, but woke up yesterday morning feeling like crud. I don't know what it was. I kept going to the bathroom and just felt a little bit nauseous. Oh, there you go, look. PC plot. So yeah. So the Triple here, Trixie as I call her, is possibly going to be traded in or sold, depending on a test ride I have lined up in the near future. It's got me wondering, after comparing, because my Speed Twin is such an amazing bike. I mean, when I first rode this one I thought it was an amazing bike, but my Speed Twin, it's like, you know, night and day almost. I mean, yes, it's got 150 cc's more, so 1200 compared to this 1050, but still, this has got an extra cylinder, and this is more meant to be a fast sports bike than the Speed Twin is. But I'm just wondering now, I'm thinking to myself, you know, is it because, let's face it, it's a 2008, so it's 12 years old. You know, motorcycle engineering develops so rapidly, and that's one of my reasons why I think the Speed Twin performs so much better. When I say better, you know, it's not amazingly better, but it's definitely better than my Triple. So I'm just thinking to myself, is it just the fact that this bike is now 12 years old and, you know, it's not as fresh, doesn't have the ride-by-wire throttle like the Speed Twin has. The brakes on this one are not quite as good on the Speed Twin. I mean, they're both running Brembo brakes, but the Speed Twin seems to have a little bit more feel to them. So I just, it's got me just thinking, well, maybe it's just the age of the bike. The Speed Twin is such an easy bike to ride compared to this one, which, you know, this one takes a little bit more input. It likes to, like I said earlier, it likes to just tip into the corners lovely. But the throttle response is definitely not as crisp as what it is on the Speed Twin. I really like the engine braking that I get from the Speed Twin too. So anyway, I am seriously thinking about selling this one. I don't know if I could if it comes down to it, because I am very attached. I've had it 7 years. When I got it, it was a bog standard Speed Triple with 0 aftermarket parts on it. I've put somewhere in the region of $3,000 to $4,000 of pretty much every Triumph aftermarket part you can put on it, and plus a few extras, non-Triumph parts, some carbon fiber bling here and there. So if it was purely aesthetics, if it came down to purely aesthetics, this is still my favorite bike to look at. I will not lie. I can look at this bike all day long. I think this is a prettier bike than the Speed Twin. But let's face it, you're only looking at it when they're parked up. When you're riding, you're not really looking at the bike. You're, other than your clocks and your handlebars,